It has lost its, the organizers have lost the control. And it's true that when you have demonstrations of such magnitude, it's very difficult to have a command.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you cannot control what people are going to do later on that day. You might have very good intentions that the demonstration must be peaceful, but again, the intentions of some of the people who are going to take advantage of the demonstration is not going to be the same. We have seen demonstrators, sometimes I say demonstrators in quotes because we have seen the Constitution talks about peaceful demonstration,
right,
not only demonstration, peaceful demonstration and the right to picketing. But we have seen demonstrators in courts who are carrying sticks, who are carrying rungus, who are carrying pangas, and who are carrying stones, even. You cannot call this a peaceful demonstration. On the other hand also, police have the monopoly of violence, that's what they do. But again, the excesses that the police are doing. Today we are burying one young boy who is being buried right now because of the gunshot. We have some others who are in hospital because of the gunshot. And then some of these boys were shot, not because maybe they were in the demonstration, but again, these bullets were stray. So why use live bullets from the police, you see? So again, this demonstration, both sides, both the police and also the demonstrators, the violence that we are seeing coming from the police and the violence that we are seeing coming from demonstrators is something that sends shivers anytime a demonstration is announced in the country. Anytime that a date is proposed for a demonstration in the country, because this demonstration, especially one we call mass action, when it's announced that there is a mass action, already it triggers in the minds. It is something that creates fear among the community and the population that on this day this is going to happen. Already it triggers something in the mind also of the would-be violators also, those who would like to take advantage of that day. So they already programmed themselves for that day. Like now, we are suffering as people of Kibera. Our children are going to school only 2 days in a week. That is not what we wanted. Again, still in Kibera, people who live in Kibera, they are earning power. We cannot compare to people who live in the high-end areas.
Right.
But again, we are destroying the same people who we are living with. You see, we are again destroying what is ours. This is one thing that I want to appeal to our people, because unless this we were doing it somewhere else, kwa wale ambao wanajiweza, but we are still hurting the same people.
Very unfortunate.
Yes, the person who is roasting maize along the road, you think these demonstrators, when they meet this person, when they meet the usual the mama waduka, who is always behind the house here selling bread and milk every day. But on this day, the faces that you can see in that demonstration, that faces are very angry. Those faces are with very red eyes, different faces. You look at them, they look at you like an enemy. These are not the same people who we hang around with every time. These are not the same people who we talk to, who we are saying that we are living together. No, the faces on that day are very different. I don't know why. You see, so I think we need to redefine our demonstration.
Right. Thank you very much, Yusuf. So now, Pastor Oga, they say, most people say politics and religion there should be a clear line between politics and religion. But from what I'm getting is that our religious leaders play a huge role in community development and in engagement. Right now, Sheikh Yusuf has been very busy, and we are very fortunate to have him here, because he's been having different meetings on issues and with different people, even the diplomats, on issues that are affecting Kibera. So this is something that has been brought up. If there were no political demonstrations, we would not have this. Do you think our religious organization should be equally involved in the political decisions? And how would then that affect how our country is governed?
Thank you, my brother Victor. In order for a government to run very well, the government should work with the religious leaders.
Yes.
Number two, the religious leaders, they are there to speak to the government and tell them, this is not right, this is right. But now the problem we are encountering now, we are seeing maybe, let me use the word the government. The government, as much as the religious leaders, they are trying to bring them close to them so that they can work together. And you can see some of the sentiments that are made, that the religious leaders, you do your part, and us as the government leave us, we do our part. You see, that is one way of saying that you are not ready to hear the voice of God, because the religious leaders, they represent God here on the earth. So if they are not ready to listen to religious leaders, the problem will keep on escalating, because the religion leaders, we are there to give direction on what should be done and what should not be done.
Religiously.
Yeah. So we are there, but if the government can take that position to work well with, I'm saying to work well with the religious leaders, because at the same time we are seeing problem with some of us religious leaders. We don't say the truth. We don't speak out. Instead, we keep on sugarcoating. What is not right as religious leaders? We are supposed just to say, this is not right. But we've been taken. So we keep on sugarcoating. We don't speak what we are supposed to speak as religious leaders.
Why do you think religious leaders are sugarcoating the problem and not speaking about it?
One, we've been having several meetings that has been happening. We find religious leaders meeting with the government, meeting with the deputy president, meeting with this also. But the question we are asking, what are the results of their meetings?
So do you feel like some of our religious organizations are being politically influenced?
I say yes.
Okay. Sheikh Yusuf.
Yes.
On the same issue, as a leader of our community, and a lot of young people really respect and know you, 90% of the demonstrators are young people who listen to you as a leader of not just the Muslim community, but as a leader in Kibera, from Kibera. Do you feel like you are involved in the organization for demonstration? And if not, do you feel like your involvement would have been of help towards a peaceful demonstration?
One thing, Victor, is that I'm a firm believer in being active non-violence. It's good to be active, fighting for your rights, but again, it has to be non-violent.
Yes.
Alternative means have to be used.
Mm-hmm.
These young people in Kibera, yes, I can say quite a number of them, because I was a madrasa teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I've taught for several years, and quite a number of my students, those who passed through me, they're now the adults. They're actually the mothers and the fathers to the children who are in the street now. Majority are known to me, and I thank God for that respect that the community is still according me, especially the young people.
Right.
But again, politics is better left to politicians. We, the religious leaders, need to play our part. In as much as nobody should be neutral in this world, because we all have our own biases. But as religious leaders, we cannot afford to be partisan when it comes to politics. We need to be as non-partisan as possible, irrespective of our biases, because we vote, we have votes, and definitely there's somebody I vote for, so I cannot say I'm neutral. But again, I do not need to be partisan in order for me to demonstrate who do I support as a religious leader. So in that aspect puts us as at a very respectable position, because both sets of politicians need us as religious leaders for moral and spiritual guidance. It is the religious leaders who can give guidance, and it's religious leaders who can still be spiritually people who will be very much effective in that time when that time comes of need. So what I'm saying is that our politics has a way of taking ethnic inclination every time we have politics. And sometimes we, the religious leaders, are also swayed through ethnicization of our politics, and sometimes we find ourselves taking partisan positions. At times like this, when the country now is in turmoil and a direction is needed, and also a voice of reason is needed, that is the time now that a religious leader who has not been partisan can now give, without any contradiction, a very moral and also spiritual guidance and a way out of quagmire like the one we have now. Having said that, also, we, the religious leaders, just like teachers, we are the mentors to these young people. We baptize them in the church, and again in the mosques also. So we know them, we know their psychology, we know what they do. When we speak, we listen. But I still don't think it is acceptable that we be part of the political arrangement, maybe demonstration or something like that. But again, the demonstrators also, or the organizers of the demonstration also have to listen to what the religious leaders are saying, because these are the only voices that we can call the voices of reason, voices that are not partisan, voices that are speaking from a neutral point of view. But again, once I can tell you, Victor, is that we can appreciate the role of the religious leaders during the just concluded elections, because we saw the shadow diplomacy, and I thank God I was among those who were there. The shadow diplomacies, meeting the would-be leaders and the leaders at that time, meeting them here and there, that yielded something, because the country went silent and there was a general calm. That is what we need. That is what we need at a time like this, a voice of reason, voice that can talk, voice that can pray with those people, because even the violators need praise.
What is, as we close the show, Sheikh Yusuf, and the same question I'll throw to Pastor Auga as well, what is the voice of the Muslim leaders?
What we are saying currently, right now, we have two objectives. One, we need calm, even in the midst of the ongoing protests. We need people to be calm. We need people to understand that this Kibera belongs to all of us. There's nowhere else that people of Kibera will go to. And again, the people of Kibera, you know, one day a demonstration when the shops were closed, people suffer for 5 days. You know, a single day activity, the consequences are felt 5 days later, for the next 5 days, because those who are supplying us sukuma wiki will not come. Those who are supplying us meat, because we do not have we buy, our butcheries buy from the abattoirs. We do not have abattoirs there. We buy from the
no means of transport.
Everything was supplied. So when it's not supplied for 1 or 2 days, then it means that we suffer for the next 5 days. You see. So this is what currently the voices of Muslim leaders what we're doing, we're talking to our young people.
Right.
We are telling them, perhaps maybe some of them are too young to understand what happened in 2007. Maybe they were in school or they were too young by then. We're trying to tell them that they should know that their mothers, Kibera is very unique. Unlike in the rural areas, but in Kibera here, they should know that their mothers, their fathers, their livelihoods depends on this place.
Right.
So you cannot do something that will affect your father. Your action can affect your father. Your action can affect your mother. So this is what we're telling them, that this is our birthplace and this is our home. We cannot afford to have it destroyed. We cannot afford to have anarchy in this area. And again, what we're saying, our Christian brothers, these are our neighbors, these are everyday people that we see. These are people who we live with, people who are sisters. If I'm sick, the next person who is my neighbor, who is a Christian, is the first person who will rush me to the hospital, even before my brothers come or my sisters. So these are the people we live with. These are our neighbors. These are not our enemies. These are people we need to, and the teachings of Islam are very clear. We are also telling them the teachings of Islam are very clear about the neighborhoods, about also living with people who are not Muslims. The teachings are very clear. So we're trying to bring all this into perspective. You go to the mosque right now as I'm speaking at 4 o'clock. You will find in most of these mosques at this time of Ramadan, we have preachings going on. And the sermons that are going on, when you listen, these are the topics that are being discussed.
Right.
The topics that are for social, how we can cohesively and socially live together. Even condemnation are going on in the mosque right now about what happened, about those who are involved also. It's not that the Muslim youth are not involved in looting. I said they are big time. They're also part of it. Because I've said violators have no religion. They're not Muslims and they're not Christians either. They're not Nubians, they're not Kikuis, they're not Luos either.
They're human beings.
They're just people who are who are just doing what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Yusuf. What is the voice of Christian leaders?
My brother Victor, remember one time we had training and we were with the Sheikh about peace and reconciliation. We had a slogan that we used to say that the Kibera we want. You see? And this is what are some of the things that Sheikh is sharing today. Kibera we want. We want a Kibera that is calm. When Kibera is calm, the other things will operate well. Why am I insisting on calmness in Kibera? We have some people who are getting their daily bread in Kibera. They don't go to industrial, they don't go to town, but they have, for example, construction. Our youth, they are employed in those sites in Kibera here. Our mothers, they have small vibandas of sukuma wiki and other things. If we are going to miss calmness in Kibera, the rest of the community of Kibera will suffer a lot. Why? We depend on one another. That is why. The way Sheikh said, there is some other areas that I need.
Right.
He needs me. And we need that harmony. So that according to the word of God, the Bible talks of Jesus was telling the disciples that love your neighbor as you love yourself. So we in Kibera, or as Christians, we are appealing that we need to love one another. In fact, during this time, I remember when I was still staying at Lindi, I had another mama who was a Muslim. During Ramadan, after that festive ends, you could find that mama coming with nyama, almost plenty of food, and they say, Mtumishi wa Mungu, come and we share together. And we could go and we share together with them. That is what we want. We don't want any discourse in between religion in Kibera. Number two, our youth. The way Sheikh has said, we cannot say, we Christians, that our youth, they are as white as a cotton. No.
Yeah.
They are the same. Some of the youth are involved in this looting and chaos. And what we want to say, the demonstration that is taking place, we are appealing to our Christian youth. If you are ready to go for demonstration, don't carry anything. Yeah. Don't carry stone, don't carry any weapon, just walk peacefully without anything in your head. Number two, our lives or our day-to-day lives in Kibera. You know, when all these things are happening, no operation of schools, businesses are closed. Some people, they don't go to their working place. And even we as religious leaders, we are facing a lot, because when these young men, they are jobless, again, it is a problem to us religious leaders.
Yes. And to the community.
And the community. Yes. So we are finding way of how we can handle them so that they can live peace with everyone. The Bible says, as I conclude in Isaiah chapter 1 verse 18, come, let us reason.
Right.
Yes. That is what my appeal today. All these things that is happening, it is a high time now the politicians and the religious leaders should come together and reason together so that they can sort out this issue peacefully, amicably, and our country will remain calm.
Right.
Victor, just before you conclude, as the Bible calls for voice of reason, the Quran also, in the first chapter, also calls for the same wordings as the Bible. O you who believe, come, let's reason together. That's what the Quran also says. I have not seen anything meaningful that has come out of the demonstrations since it started, except the loss of lives, property, the destruction of properties, the tension, the fear, and we continue losing our young people day in, day out whenever we have this. And again, also, nothing has come out of since the day with the arrogance of the government also, because I can't say so. The government is also arrogant and just something, being in a position that they are the tough talking from the IG and all that. So nothing has so far come out of that.
Right.
Both sides, whether the demonstration, whether the arrogance of the government, nothing has helped a common man except suffering. So what I'm saying is we must have another way of doing things.
That's right.
A different way of doing things without making Wananchi suffer. Because it's the Wananchi, and especially we of Kibera, it is us who are suffering. I mentioned our children are going to school 2 days a week, while other children in other areas, they are going to school. Children in Westlands are not affected by the demonstration. Children in Runda are not affected by the demonstration.
Karen
and Lavington, they are not, but they will sit the same exam.
Right.
Our livelihoods here in Kibera is disrupted. So I want to tell our leaders to rethink, because this thing is hurting us more than helping us.
Yeah.
We are supposed right now to be busy looking for what is going to help us this evening, because in Kibera people live from hand to mouth. What you earn today from your meager wages is what you're going to use in the evening to buy a small fish and ugali for a day. We do not have sophisticated ways of having fridges and stocking our food in the fridges. This is how we live in Kibera. So we suffer every time that we have this demonstration, and also the egos of the government and whatever is happening. It's people of Kibera who are suffering. It's not helping, but it's causing more suffering. With the hope, we're given hope that life will be better later on. But again, since 2007, we've been in the same problem. Before 2007, we've seen the same problem. I'm telling our leaders, let's find another way of doing things. Let's have a different methods of doing things that will not bring the suffering to us, people who are here. Let the suffering, or I do not wish any Kenyan to suffer.
Right.
But what I'm saying, let's have a different way that will be equally good to everyone, every Kenyan.
Right.
We need demonstrations, yes. We need to fight for our rights, yes. We need to picket. We need the governments to listen to us, yes. But again, we need to change our methods. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so as we close, this is beautiful. And also, I just wanted to add, in addition to what Pastor Nshika said, as a young person from Kibera, I want to talk about social halls. I want to talk about social programs. I want to talk about football fields. I want to talk about art programs, music, dance, because these are some of the things that help young people heal. And the population is huge. So today, even if we talk about the price of unga going down, beautiful, but without a job,
Yes.
Victor, without a job, then how am I going to get unga? I want to talk about job opportunities for young people in Kibera. So as we close, Pastor and Sheikh, I know this has taken longer than we anticipated, but I think it's equally important to the young people, the government, and also the international organizations as well. What had happened is very unfortunate. There was an attack at the church and it was banned. There was also an attack in the mosque, or there was talk about an attack in the mosque. What is the Islam consequence to anyone who goes into a holy place and does such a thing? And what is the Christian consequence or repercussion of anyone who does that in a holy place? Because this is not a talk of mosque and the church. These are both holy places.
Yes.
Yes. And this is a dwelling place for God. Because if I'm depressed, if I have a problem, I know there have been instances in the past where our families would run and our Muslim brothers would collect food and give us regardless of our religion. And this has not happened once, it's happened several times. So what would you say to the young people who would be watching this and anyone who do not understand that there are consequences to attacking a holy place?
One thing I should tell the Muslim youth out there is that a designated place for worship, let alone a built-up church or any place designated for worship, is a no-go zone. That is a holy place. In the Quran, we know the story of Moses. When God told him to remove his shoes because that place was holy, because it was a designated place by God that is holy. We have that story in the Quran. Moses was told. So I'm telling the youth to follow the story of Prophet Muhammad. The Quran teaches us straight away that us Muslims, we are taught in the Quran to defend places of worship. We are told to defend, not even to Lebanon attacking. It's our duty when the church is being burned, when the church is under attack. It is our duty to defend the church. Lebanon, the mosque. This is what the Quran, this is what our Prophet taught us. Nevertheless, again, it is a curse and a sin. Sinful before God and a curse on earth to ever not only destroying but kudharau pahala pa ibada. Once a place is designated as a place of ibada, that's a very holy place. So when you perpetrate an act of violence, anarchy, destruction and all that, you are not only calling upon yourself wrath of God, but again we say it's a curse from God. Your life, only God knows how it's going to be. Yeah.
Thank you. I want to appeal to our Christian youth wherever they are. A church or a mosque is a place that has been set. The place has been set, and God himself, if we go back to the Bible, the same Quran is talking about. God was talking to Moses, and he told Moses, you are now going to a holy place. Can you take off your sandals? Because you are going to a holy place. And the danger that I want the youth to listen to me, when you attack a holy place of God, God will punish you. We read in the book of Daniel, we see the story of Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, when he went to a holy place and he began to use the instruments or the apparatus that are in a holy place, what happened? God caused Nebuchadnezzar to move out of the palace, and he was a wild animal. He ate grass. So on the other side, I'm appealing to our young men. We are there to defend our mosque. We are there to defend our churches. Let us not be swayed or moved to come and attack the holy place of God. It is a sin, and this one to God, you will never go anywhere. The punishment is there. God will never allow his holy place to be defiled or to be looted for your own gain. So it is a curse and it is a sin.
Wow. Thank you very much, Sheikh Yusuf and Pastor Auga. And this is just food for thought for our viewers. The parliament or government institutions are protected by heavy security and firearms. The church and the mosque and religious places and holy places are protected by God. Food for thought. Thank you very much for watching. Share, like, and comment in the comment section. Asanteni sana, Sheikh Yusuf.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sheikh, thank you.